Imagine walking into a room where no one seems to notice you. You sit quietly, almost invisible, yet you feel the weight of every gaze that passes without stopping. And then, slowly, someone turns toward you, not with expectation, not with judgment, but with a curiosity that feels almost magnetic. Their attention lingers on the small things, the way you tilt your head when you think, the subtle rhythm of your breathing, the quiet depth behind your eyes. It is in these unnoticed moments, the ones you might dismiss as ordinary, that the unconscious begins to awaken. The mind notices what the heart cannot always name. There is a strange, almost mysterious force at work when someone becomes captivated in this way. It is rarely about what you say or do in grand gestures. It is the reflection of authenticity, the resonance of presence, the subtle hints of mystery that echo something deep within another person's psyche. You may not even realize it, but the way you show up, quietly and fully, is leaving impressions that linger long after you have left the room. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what he also revealed is that what draws us toward others, the fascination, the admiration, the almost uncontrollable pull, is often a reflection of what they mirror within us, the parts we long to see, the qualities we unconsciously admire, and the depth we recognize but cannot always name. That is why someone can feel crazy in love without understanding why. It is not magic. It is the invisible language of the unconscious, speaking through authenticity, presence, and the quiet power of being fully human. There is a quiet power in the way we reflect each other without even knowing it. Deep within the human psyche, there exists a tendency to be drawn toward qualities that we recognize in ourselves, or that we secretly long to cultivate. Often, it is not the obvious external traits that attract us, but the subtle echoes of something we sense in another that resonates with the unconscious layers of our mind. When someone acts in a way that mirrors a part of our inner world, it can awaken a profound fascination, almost as if a chord has been struck in the deepest recesses of our being. This mirror effect operates beneath the level of conscious thought. We rarely stop and analyze why we feel an instant pull toward certain people. We notice the connection, the chemistry, the inexplicable rightness of being around them, but we do not always understand that it is the reflection of our own ideals, our hidden values, or even our unacknowledged desires that is drawing us in. Jung spoke often about the psyche seeking balance, about the human drive to integrate the parts of ourselves that remain unseen. When someone acts in a way that reflects those hidden parts, it can feel magnetic, sometimes overwhelming. It is not just a matter of admiration. The mirror effect often triggers a deeper, unconscious longing. When we see in another a quality we recognize as missing or underdeveloped within ourselves, we may project our desires, our hopes, and even our fears onto them. This projection can create an intensity of feeling that borders on obsession or crazy in love. It is as if the psyche is saying, "This person holds a piece of me that I have not yet embraced." Small gestures, subtle behaviors, or fleeting moments of alignment can ignite this response because they confirm in the unconscious mind that our inner world is being acknowledged and reflected. What makes this effect so powerful is that it operates largely without conscious reasoning. A laugh, a thoughtful glance, or a kind action might resonate far beyond what is apparent on the surface. The unconscious mind notes these reflections with a precision the conscious mind often misses. It is why someone may feel inexplicably drawn to another without being able to articulate why. Every interaction that mirrors an inner truth strengthens the emotional bond. This is not about manipulation or deliberate signaling. It is about the natural resonance between souls. The mirror effect also interacts with the idea of integration. Jung suggested that we are always seeking to reconcile the parts of ourselves that we deny or ignore. When another person embodies these qualities, they become a living representation of what we are unconsciously striving toward. Their presence, therefore, carries a magnetic quality that is difficult to resist. It is almost as if the psyche recognizes an opportunity for growth, for reflection, and for recognition. Every time this occurs, the feeling of attraction deepens, moving beyond superficial traits and embedding itself in the emotional and psychic layers of connection. Interestingly, this effect is not limited to positive traits alone. Sometimes we are drawn to qualities that challenge us, that provoke discomfort, or that reveal our unacknowledged fears. Even in these cases, the mirror effect is at work, because it exposes the hidden recesses of our psyche that we may have avoided confronting. The pull toward such qualities can feel intense, confusing, or inexplicable, but it is rooted in the same mechanism, the unconscious recognition of self in the other. The subtlety of this effect makes it deceptively simple. It is rarely a conscious calculation, rarely a deliberate choice. Instead, it unfolds quietly, in small moments of resonance and recognition. A word spoken in empathy, an action that aligns with unspoken values, or the mere presence of someone who carries an energy that mirrors our own can awaken feelings that feel larger than life. These are the moments where attraction moves beyond the ordinary and touches the realm of the profound. Ultimately, the mirror effect is a reminder of how deeply interconnected human souls are. It demonstrates that our attachments, our fascinations, and our crazy in love moments often originate from the unconscious dance between reflection and recognition. When someone resonates with the unspoken parts of us, when they embody what we value or seek, the attraction is no longer just surface level. It becomes a psychic echo, a call from within that draws two consciousnesses into a magnetic alignment that cannot easily be ignored. There is a rare kind of magnetism that flows from being truly oneself. Authenticity is not about performing for the world or wearing a mask that conforms to expectations. It is about allowing the deeper self to be seen, the self that is unpolished, vulnerable, and real. When someone expresses themselves in this way, it resonates with the unconscious mind of others. There is an unspoken recognition that occurs, a quiet acknowledgement that touches something essential within the psyche. People are instinctively drawn to those who are genuine because it awakens a sense of truth and trust that the mind has long been seeking. The human psyche craves honesty, even if it does not always consciously articulate this desire. We are surrounded by performances, by faces that hide the inner landscape, and by conversations that skim only the surface. In this environment, a moment of authenticity becomes luminous. A simple expression of feeling, a candid admission, or a truthful action can strike a deep chord as it bypasses the defenses of the mind and reaches directly into the emotional and unconscious layers. This is why even small, authentic gestures can create intense fascination or attachment in another person. Authenticity has a way of disarming the psyche. When someone is unafraid to show their true self, it invites others to do the same. The unconscious mind responds not only to what is seen, but to what is sensed. There is a resonance that occurs when someone behaves without pretense, and this resonance can feel magnetic. It is as if the soul recognizes a kindred spirit, someone who is willing to meet the world with openness and courage. This is not something that can be manufactured. It must emerge from a sincere alignment between inner experience and outward expression. There's also a psychological principle at work here. Humans are drawn to honesty because it validates the inner world of the observer. When someone behaves authentically, it communicates indirectly, "I am real, I am whole, I am not afraid to exist fully." For those witnessing this, it can awaken a sense of longing or admiration because it reflects a quality they themselves may aspire to embody. The attraction becomes less about external appearances and more about the recognition of shared depth, of unspoken truth. Moreover, authenticity creates emotional safety. When someone acts with genuine intentions, when their words and actions are aligned, it allows others to feel seen and understood without judgment. This creates a powerful emotional resonance. The unconscious mind notices these moments with clarity. It registers them as rare and valuable, and the emotional impact can be profound. People remember how it feels to be around someone whose behavior is real, whose presence is uncontrived. These small but genuine experiences often linger in the memory far longer than any grand performance or superficial charm. Another layer of this phenomenon is that authenticity often reveals vulnerability. Jung often spoke about the importance of confronting the inner self and integrating both strength and weakness. When someone shares their true self, including their doubts, fears, or imperfections, it resonates with the observer on a deep psychological level. Vulnerability invites empathy and connection. It communicates, "I am human, just as you are." And this shared acknowledgement can create feelings of closeness and emotional intensity that are hard to ignore. The power of authenticity is also subtle in its timing and consistency. It is not the occasional display of truth that creates attachment, but the consistent alignment of actions, words, and intentions. Over time, the unconscious mind forms patterns of recognition. It notices the reliability of genuine behavior, the absence of pretense, and the courage it takes to exist openly. These patterns can quietly awaken admiration, trust, and even deep emotional fascination. Ultimately, authenticity acts like a beacon to the unconscious mind. It signals honesty, integrity, and the courage to exist fully. It creates resonance, fosters connection, and awakens the recognition of depth that the psyche instinctively seeks. When someone embodies authenticity, it touches the parts of others that long for truth, for presence, and for alignment with their own inner selves. The effect is powerful, magnetic, and deeply human, moving beyond superficial attraction into the realm of profound psychological connection. There is a part of every human being that remains hidden, a dimension of ourselves we seldom show to the world. Jung called this the shadow, the unconscious reservoir of thoughts, desires, fears, and impulses that we do not fully acknowledge. It is not inherently dark or negative. It is simply unseen, unexplored, and powerful. When someone touches even the edges of another person's shadow, it evokes fascination. There is an allure in the unknown, a magnetic quality that pulls people toward what they cannot entirely comprehend. Mystery engages the unconscious mind. Humans are naturally drawn to what is partially concealed because it promises depth and complexity. When a person exhibits behaviors, thoughts, or subtle traits that hint at hidden layers, it awakens curiosity and interest. This attraction is not superficial. It is rooted in the psyche's recognition of depth and the possibility of discovery. It feels compelling because it reflects the complexity of the inner world, which the conscious mind often craves but rarely encounters in such pure form. The shadow operates as a mirror in the unconscious, revealing both what we deny in ourselves and what we long to understand. When someone's presence or behavior hints at hidden depths, it resonates with these unseen aspects of our own psyche. There is a subtle dialogue that occurs beneath conscious awareness, a sense that this person embodies something rare and significant. Small gestures or enigmatic behaviors can create an intense pull because they stir unconscious recognition. It is as if the psyche whispers, "Here is a dimension of life that is real, that is raw, that is untouched." Mystery also thrives on restraint and subtlety. It is not overt or performative. It is revealed in fleeting moments, a glance that hints at emotion, a pause that suggests reflection, or a quality in demeanor that cannot easily be defined. The unconscious mind notices these subtleties, often more acutely than the conscious mind. This is why someone can be irresistibly drawn to another without being able to articulate why. The attraction originates in a place beyond logic, in the terrain of emotion, intuition, and unspoken understanding. The shadow's influence in attraction is paradoxical. People are drawn not only to what is comforting or familiar, but also to what challenges, provokes, or unsettles them. When someone's behavior reveals layers of complexity, unresolved tensions, or hidden contradictions, it awakens the unconscious mind's curiosity. There is an inherent fascination in attempting to understand the unknown, in perceiving a person who seems larger than the sum of what is immediately visible. The mind is engaged and the emotions respond with intensity. Part of the allure of mystery is that it invites projection. When someone exhibits subtle, hidden qualities, observers often project their own desires, fears, or fantasies onto them. The unknown becomes a canvas for the unconscious, a place where imagination and emotion can merge. This projection can amplify feelings of connection or even obsession, because the mind fills in the gaps with what it longs to see, creating an emotional intensity that feels overwhelming yet compelling. The shadow and mystery also foster a sense of authenticity. When someone is willing to reveal glimpses of their inner depths, even if only partially, it communicates courage and self-awareness. There is a profound attraction in witnessing another person who embraces complexity, who is not simplified or reduced for the comfort of others. This subtle unveiling signals that there is more to discover, that beneath the surface lies a rich landscape of thought, feeling, and experience. Human connection is often intensified by these layers. Attraction is rarely about the fully revealed and entirely known. It is about the hints, the partial glimpses, and the enigmatic presence that draws the mind and heart into exploration. When someone interacts in ways that touch the shadow, the unconscious responds with fascination, intrigue, and sometimes a sense of longing. The intensity of this attraction is often magnified because it engages both the conscious desire for connection and the unconscious recognition of depth. Ultimately, the shadow and mystery operate together to create a powerful magnetism. The hidden layers, the subtle gestures, the glimpses of depth, all of these invite curiosity, reflection, and emotional resonance. When someone awakens these responses, the attraction goes beyond surface-level admiration. It engages the psyche at its core, stirring recognition, fascination, and a sense of profound connection that feels larger than conscious understanding. Human beings are deeply attuned to emotion, even in ways they do not fully recognize. There is a subtle language that operates beyond words, a rhythm of feeling that connects people at the unconscious level. Emotional resonance is the experience of encountering another person whose presence, gestures, or expressions echo something within our own emotional landscape. It is not merely empathy or sympathy, it is a vibrational alignment that awakens recognition, understanding, and connection. When someone expresses genuine emotion, it creates a mirror in which others see themselves reflected. A small act of kindness, a moment of sincere concern, or even a shared laugh can create ripples that touch the unconscious mind. These moments are often fleeting, yet their impact can be profound. The psyche records these resonances as meaningful, even if the conscious mind does not immediately grasp why. This is why certain people leave impressions that feel unforgettable, not because of who they are on the surface, but because they activate emotional chords that lie deep within. The human mind is naturally drawn to experiences that feel emotionally real. In a world full of distraction and superficial interactions, genuine emotional resonance is rare and precious. It signals authenticity and attentiveness, qualities that unconsciously indicate safety and connection. When someone responds to another in a way that validates feelings without judgment, it communicates understanding at a level that transcends logic. This validation is experienced not only cognitively but somatically, as a feeling of being seen and acknowledged. Emotional resonance operates both in small gestures and subtle moments. A comforting word, an attentive glance, or a gentle acknowledgement can create a powerful impact. It is not the grand gestures alone that forge attachment, but the consistent, nuanced ways someone resonates with another's inner state. Each time emotions are mirrored or acknowledged, the unconscious mind notes the alignment and stores it as significance. Over time, these repeated experiences accumulate into a deep-seated sense of connection that can feel irresistible. The unconscious mind also responds to congruence between emotion and behavior. When someone's external actions match the emotional undertones they express, it creates harmony that the psyche recognizes instantly. This consistency communicates integrity and trustworthiness, which in turn intensifies emotional resonance. Conversely, when emotion and behavior are disjointed, the unconscious perceives discord and the sense of connection weakens. True resonance requires alignment, a meeting of the internal and external in ways that feel whole and coherent. Another aspect of emotional resonance is its ability to awaken latent feelings. When someone expresses a subtle or nuanced emotion, it can trigger memories, desires, or longings that have been dormant. The unconscious mind responds to this stimulation, often amplifying attraction or fascination. The feeling of being touched on a deep emotional level can create intensity that feels sudden or inexplicable. Yet it is grounded in the mind's natural capacity to recognize reflection and alignment. The role of empathy in emotional resonance is profound. When someone demonstrates a sensitivity to the emotional currents of another, it creates a bridge between conscious and unconscious experience. The observer senses that they are understood at a level beyond words. This perception fosters intimacy and attachment because it speaks to the fundamental human need to be known and accepted. People are unconsciously drawn to those who can navigate emotional depth with awareness and grace. Emotional resonance also deepens over time through subtle repetition. Each moment of connection, each gesture that communicates understanding, strengthens the unconscious recognition of alignment. It is rarely a single act that creates fascination, but the accumulation of experiences where emotions are mirrored and acknowledged. This layered recognition forms the foundation for feelings that may seem overwhelming, intense, or even crazy, because they engage both conscious appreciation and unconscious acknowledgement simultaneously. Ultimately, emotional resonance is about alignment of the soul as much as the mind. It awakens recognition of shared emotional truth, creating a magnetic pull that cannot be reduced to logic or reason. When someone consistently resonates with another's inner emotional landscape, the attachment becomes profound, unconscious, and enduring. The intensity of such connection often feels larger than life because it touches the core of what it means to be human, a being that longs to be seen, understood, and reflected in the depths of another's consciousness. Within every human mind, there exists a deep and universal layer of symbols and patterns that Jung called archetypes. These are not learned behaviors, but inherited tendencies and motifs that shape perception, emotion, and instinct. Archetypes exist in the unconscious, guiding responses in ways that often go unnoticed. When someone behaves in a manner that aligns with these archetypal patterns, it can trigger a powerful response, an attraction that feels instinctual, immediate, and even uncontrollable. Certain behaviors, gestures, or qualities can awaken these archetypes without conscious effort. A protective stance, a nurturing action, a daring risk, or a display of wisdom may activate deeply embedded patterns in the observer's psyche. These patterns resonate at a level beneath rational thought, creating emotional intensity that feels larger than life. The attraction that arises is not merely based on surface traits, but on the unconscious recognition of symbolic significance, an echo of something timeless and meaningful within the human experience. The activation of archetypes can also explain why small actions sometimes provoke deep fascination. A simple act of guidance or reassurance may awaken the protector archetype in another person. A moment of vulnerability or openness may awaken the lover or caregiver. Even subtle displays of independence, courage, or insight can stir archetypal patterns associated with the hero or sage. These activations are unconscious, yet they produce intense emotional resonance, often interpreted by the conscious mind as being irresistibly drawn to someone. Archetypes function as bridges between the conscious and unconscious. When they are activated, they bring with them a flood of emotions, desires, and instinctive responses that may be difficult to articulate. The observer may feel fascination, admiration, or even obsession, but rarely fully understand why. This is because archetypes speak directly to the deeper layers of the psyche, bypassing logic and tapping into a primal, universal language of symbols and emotional patterns. Another important aspect of archetype activation is its subtlety. It is rarely the grand, deliberate gestures that trigger unconscious recognition, but often the quiet, consistent expressions of character and essence. A word spoken with insight, a small act of courage, or a gesture of empathy can be enough to awaken archetypal responses. The unconscious mind perceives these moments as significant because they align with fundamental patterns of human experience, creating a sense of familiarity, awe, or longing. The unconscious is also drawn to balance and completeness. When someone exhibits qualities that align with missing or unacknowledged archetypes within the observer, it can create an intense pull. The psyche senses an opportunity to integrate what it lacks, to encounter what it desires or needs at a symbolic level. This is why the activation of archetypes often feels like destiny or fate, as if the connection is meant to be. The fascination becomes profound because it engages both instinctive recognition and unconscious longing simultaneously. Archetypes also explain the universality of certain attractions. Across cultures and time periods, humans respond similarly to expressions of courage, wisdom, nurturing, or playfulness. These responses are not purely social or learned. They emerge from the shared symbolic patterns embedded in the collective unconscious. When someone resonates with these patterns, it awakens a timeless recognition, connecting observer and observed on a level that feels both deeply personal and universally human. Emotional intensity resulting from archetype activation can sometimes feel overwhelming because it taps into layers of experience that are not fully conscious. People may experience fascination, infatuation, or even obsession without understanding the root cause. The attraction is symbolic as much as it is personal, rooted in the interplay between observed behavior and unconscious recognition. The unconscious mind responds to alignment with archetypal patterns with emotional force, often giving rise to feelings that feel profound and unavoidable.